Right, now this is a standard, it's a Regal Standard white chiffon. And what I decided to do, this had two main stems coming out the top that were forming one sort of head, but it wasn't a very long standard. And the two sides, the two stems which had grown out, you can see one have cut off and one have gone up the other way, were forming one head, but I decided that both sides of this were good enough to potentially use as a separate standard to get a bit more height on it. So what I decided to do, I cut one side of it off, and this side can form a perfectly good head. Now what I did, the pot was quite damp at the root ball, so what I decided to do is just trim it off there. It's now dried out, and I'm going to cut it back to the stem to make this level. I'm going to start the process of just pulling this back. I will need to be careful, and I've got a few little lower stems that I'm going to actually cut off. So I might as well show you that being done. I got a root, potential root sort of cutting, we call them cutting, but it's a root shoot. I will probably retain that. The thing is, white chiffon in the old days was used quite widely for show. I'm just going to cut that there, cut off this second break that I've done just to tidy it and square it off to the main stem. There we go. That's okay. Tidy. Doing this quite late in the day. I've actually filmed a few just at this time. Just trim that back. A little bit of an overcut on it. That's fine. And I'm going to I've got some really good cross stems on there, so I'm going to take that lower one off. Green, take that shoot off there. Do I need that branch or not? I've got another lower branch right down here. Small one, short one, I'm going to take that off as well. Primarily because I've got a good cross member of stems coming out there, so that's good enough to form a head. And this is why I made the decision to do it that way. So I might just tie it just to begin the pullback process. Got to be a little bit careful in doing that. I don't want to over pull it because it'll potentially snap the stem in about there somewhere, which I have done once or twice this year already. So we've just got a bit of string off. I won't pull that out today. I'll do that another day potentially, just to see how what the root, whether it may have a root on it. It should do actually. There we go. Now the only minor issue is this stick that I'm using here is probably not that strong, so just give it a pull back. All I'm doing is just starting the process. That'll do. I'm not going to overdo it. I don't want to stress that bit in there. You can probably see in here, if I pull that too tight, that'll begin to split. So I've just got that nice and tight, and that'll start the process of just putting that back across. There's nothing really in the way there, that's fine. But yeah, getting rid of that, and then getting rid of this other stem that was coming out here that was forming the head. I've gone up now 2 or 3 inches, or what, 8 to 10 centimetres. I've got an extra 8 to 10 centimetres of length on this stem now, because it wasn't tall enough. So that'll potentially do that. It's quite a young standard. It was the last year cutting, and I'll use that. I'll get some, I've got some root brates coming out there which I'll use for cutting material. That's that one. Okay, there we go.